I will be back here. I will be back here. And I will be back with vengeance. You will not get the best of me, no sir.
3rd and 3.
We'll see a pickup sometime on the right side, possibly.
Montana looking, throwing in the end zone. It's a madhouse at Candlestick.
Think we're done? We're just getting started.
Young almost falls down, throws to the end zone. Owens! Owens! Owens!
It will change, and I'm not trying to tell you something. It's going to change. It's not like that. Okay, but I want you to understand where I'm coming from. It will change. And it will change because they wanted to change, not because of me. It will change because they want to be champions.
Smith in a gun with Moore on his left hip. 3rd down, Alex takes the snap. Alex looking, got it, post, and it's good! Touchdown, 49! Vernon Davis with the play of his life! It all comes to this 4th down. 4th and 4 at the San Francisco 10. Ryan in a shotgun. Rodgers to his left. 3 receivers right. Ryan takes the snap. Looking, pressure, throws middle. Broken up, fighting. Navarro Bowman. And the 49ers silence the house.
All right, cunts, here we are. We're back, episode number fucking 2. I don't want to be here any more than I did at episode 1, but I digress. We were just talking privately about what we all wore.
Well, we started because we didn't do the blame game.
Right.
Yeah.
We were going to do
So,
the blame game.
let's
Yes.
go right to that.
So we're going to start with the blame game. Who we all are blaming for the collapse of the 49ers in Super Bowl 2020, Super Bowl 54.
Who's going first?
Bob, you want to start?
Sure.
Let's give the brains of this operation.
First and foremost, I'm going to blame Steve
I back
for
that.
texting good luck.
Yep.
That's first and foremost.
Yes. There's blame. There's all sorts of blame to go around here.
Secondarily,
I gotta imagine you get a point of finger at me somehow here.
I'm going to blame Robert Saleh. I think his defensive calls in the 4th quarter started becoming predictable, and that there was no surprise by the Kansas City Chiefs of when we were blitzing and what we were doing, and that allowed Mahomes to run up and down the field.
Okay. I like it. I'm gonna go next. I 100% blame Steve. Probably more weight than you're putting into it, but I put a lot because I'm into that that weird next level shit. And like I said, when that text came through, I knew my heart sunk. I knew no matter how hard we all fought that day that we weren't going to come out on top. Their God was with them, Steve, because you crossed that fucking line. I'm also, hey, don't you giggle because you're in on this too. You two are thick as thieves, you cunts. The timing, you had to just get your goodbye in. You couldn't hold out another week. The both of you had to get it in. You couldn't let your ego slide. And then on top of that, your blind support to the coaching staff, who is the third I'm putting on this.
How poor would that have looked if after a Super Bowl loss we then announce it?
You stupid fuck. They would have won. If this guy knew how to fucking, take a hint and you two would have just fucking kept your mouth shut for a week, we'd be celebrating right now. I'd be sniffing fucking lines openly.
Super Bowl rails.
Yeah.
Those ever elusive Super Bowl rails.
Yeah, they lose you.
Now you get to drink a cup of piss instead.
Yeah, great. So Curran hits me up and he's like, this piss drinking. He's like, is it really going to happen? I'm like, well, to be honest with you, I don't even want to do another fucking Gold Blooded podcast ever again. But yes, it is going to happen. I'm going to do it to preseason next year or week 1 next year. I'm going to own up to that, and I will be drinking urine. He's like, well, could you just give me a heads up privately so I could definitely tell my mom not to listen to that episode? I was like, yeah, man, you'll be the first to know. Don't worry when I'm drinking fucking urine.
Thank God, Curran, you're lucky we met.
Yeah.
It's the only reason I'm holding back right now. You're lucky we met.
Why?
I'm not gonna do it to him. I like him too much.
I don't even want to know.
All right, Joe. Well, so far, while valid in your blame, very valid, can't dispute it. What blame do you place on actual things that
He said the
happened
coaching
in
staff.
I said
that
the whole coaching,
stadium?
the entire coaching staff.
The entire coaching staff.
They
Didn't you just get in the last episode? Weren't you just mad that Kyle wasn't coach of the year?
Well, no, I just meant there could be an argument to be made for him being the coach of the year, right?
Yeah, I would say.
Okay, well, he fucking did not do his job very well in the Super Bowl. And that up to that point, he did a great job. But he didn't coach. Maybe he did coach the Super Bowl the way he coached all season, but it's not the same scenario in the Super Bowl. Teams are going to go all out until, you know what I mean? And he didn't. He needed to put his foot on their throat. Robert Salah, you probably said it better than I can, so there you go. And the offensive play calling, as far as I'm concerned, or maybe the players didn't get it done, but I just feel like things could have been done differently to protect that lead. 7 minutes, 10 points.
I do think that there is a valid amount of blame to be placed on myself. A valid amount of blame to be placed on Kyle Shanahan. I didn't agree with his management before halftime. I didn't agree with his conservative 4th and 2 field goal in Kansas City's territory. I'm trying to think what else I didn't agree with. The play calling, I had no problem with the play calling. The run or the pass. Why didn't he run it more? Why are we passing? We're a running team. He called the right plays. There were guys wide open, which brings me to my blame game. And I am placing this one on Jimmy G. He did not step up when we needed him to step up at the end of the game.
Sounds like a guy who knows he fucked up and is trying to pass the buck.
There were many a plays out there that could and should have been made. Guys running wide open, easy pitch and catches.
I mean, you could throw him in there too. Fuck it.
And he did not, at any point throughout the playoffs, really look like Horsecock. The last time we saw Horsecock was Week 17 Seattle. And I'm not saying that he can't perform in the playoffs. Of course he can. I've seen him do it. But in the Super Bowl, I do not think that he, even early on when he had a good stat line of 18 for 21, he had a couple of good throws, but it wasn't Horsecock.
I agree with that. However, had he played the last half of the fourth quarter, even just as good as he played the first 3.5 quarters.
Yeah.
He didn't even have to be next level.
Yeah.
If he just played it as good as he played the first 3.5 quarters.
100%.
Yeah.
He needed
100%.
3 completions. You know what I mean?
Or 1 or 2,
Yeah.
Just at the right time. And I agree.
And I'd like to know
That's
what
fair.
happened. I mean, I feel
That's
like later in the game, the protection started to break down a little bit. They were hitting him a lot more often, getting to him a lot quicker.
The
There
Kansas
were balls.
City defense was playing better for
There
sure.
were balls that were being batted down at very inopportune times, but there were numerous. I can probably count on one entire hand 5 plays out there that he just flat out didn't see the field. He was not seeing the field right.
I have a question. Did anybody get hurt in this game? Like, big time hurt?
Well, Jimmy Ward popped his shoulder out when he put a lick on Mahomes, but they popped it back in and he was back in the game.
Okay.
Aside
No
from
shit.
that,
I didn't know that it was out. That's wild.
yeah, I thought they said it on the broadcast.
Good for him. I think Bosa fucked up a finger at one point. I don't know if it was dislocated or what, but he was out for 4 plays in a row. They said he had a hand issue, and then he was back out there, so I don't know if they put it back in or just taped it up or what they did.
Clubbed him.
But when he was running off, you could see he was immobilizing one of his hands, and I don't know if it was a finger or what, but then he was back out there. So I'm sure they taped it or put it back in or whatever it was.
When I could place blame in a number of places, but if I had to pick one, it's on Jimmy. And
Other than yourself.
other than myself,
Yeah.
man, when he threw that bomb up for Emmanuel Sanders, and you just see Emmanuel Sanders running past defenders, what were you thinking in that moment?
It looked long from the jump.
Really? Because
Yeah.
it's so hard to tell though,
I-
because the
to me,
football's
it
not
lo-
on the screen.
Yeah, to me, I just felt like it was going to be long. I don't know, something. I didn't feel like it was going to be caught.
There was so much magic all year this year, where this team has answered the bell
Yeah.
at the end of games, where I was like, "This is what I've been waiting for. This is what we need right here," and it just fucking it's 6 yards beyond
Only
them.
8 teams in NFL history have ever lost the Super Bowl and made it back the following year.
Only 8? That sounds like a lot. There's been 54 Super Bowls. 8 of them have returned after losing.
Yeah.
That's a lot more than I expected. To
Well,
be
you
honest.
had the Bills do it
Yeah, 4 years in a row.
3 years in a row.
Yeah, 3 years in a row.
And then
I know the Patriots did it after losing to Philly. They
Yeah.
made it back and
71 Cowboys, 72 Dolphins, 73 Vikings, the 87 Broncos, the 91 through 93 Bills, and the 2018 Patriots.
That's 15%. That's pretty good.
yeah, that's actually
I wouldn't have expected it to be that high.
that's actually higher than
But
I
you're
thought.
right. The Bills skew that pretty bad.
Yes.
Yeah. That whole thing was will forever go
Could
down.
you imagine going through that? Could you
So
fucking imagine?
You have no recollection. You
I
weren't
was
even
4.
born. Okay, yeah. So, I mean, Rob and I have a good memory of it, you know? I mean, I was 11, 12, 13, 14 years old. It was fucking wild. It really was. They had some ballers.
Yeah.
It's definitely a joke when you fucking.
Yeah.
So, although I'm blaming Jimmy Garoppolo for this game, I will say that Jimmy Garoppolo is 100% a franchise quarterback in my mind, and 100% can win a Super Bowl.
The more important question here is Jimmy Garoppolo a franchise quarterback in Kyle Shanahan's mind?
I think so.
Yeah.
You do?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I definitely think
I mean,
so.
I think, and I know everybody tells me that I'm a fucking asshole, and I get it. But I think with the heavy run game and the not, I mean, yeah, they had to take some chances at the end there, but up to that point in the playoffs primarily, granted they had a game plan, but they didn't use them, and it seemed like Kyle was shying away from the pass plays, even when they needed it. I don't know. I think there's something.
I refuse to buy into that.
No,
I
I don't
heard
buy
it
that
from
at all.
everywhere, from every single angle, and that's just not what I see.
Okay. Just throwing it
When
out.
you're rushed for 300 yards, you're not going to throw
Yeah.
passes.
I mean, coming into the season, Jimmy Garoppolo had 10 career starts,
He
10.
still hasn't played 2 full seasons.
and he was rehabbing a torn ACL. That wasn't even,
All the talk was about how quickly Patrick Mahomes got to a Super Bowl as a starting quarterback.
yeah,
How many games has he started?
more than Jimmy
Get
Garoppolo.
the fuck out of my face.
Yeah.
Eat a dick. Get the fuck away from me.
Now, next year,
And he's got fucking Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, Sammy Watkins. Like, come on.
I know.
Give me a fucking break.
I know.
Meanwhile, fucking our best offensive weapon of the game is a rookie. A fucking rookie.
Jimmy Garoppolo entering this year, 10 career starts and a bad knee. Jimmy Garoppolo entering next year, 29 career starts, playoff experiences, signature wins,
2-1 in the postseason.
2 playoff wins, signature wins throughout the regular season, and playoff wins, and big wins in big stadiums like New Orleans, and a fully rehab knee, in another year under Kyle Shanahan and his system. And I mean, this guy is everything that you want in a leader on the team as far as the quarterback goes. He knows how to conduct himself. He's not combative. He knows how to handle wins. He knows how to handle losses. The way he talks to the media about the team, when he talks about the success of the team, he never says me. He always says we. When he talks about the team's failures, he always says me, and he never says we. He is exactly what you want as a franchise quarterback. And I have seen Jimmy Garoppolo take over games. He just needs to do it more consistently, and I think he will next year.
I guess we'll see. You've always been about that blind faith.
I mean,
Blind faith.
it's very tangible logic that he's going to improve next year.
It's blind faith, Steve.
He hasn't even played 2 full seasons worth of football.
Just gonna drink my urine and shut the fuck
It's
up.
it's also blind disfaith to think that it's not going to happen. So, I mean,
I'm not saying it's not gonna happen.
In his final presser, which came out today, I only caught his because they went up so fucking late. he was talking about how special the team was, and surprisingly, to my surprise, he referenced back to that very forgetful, for me, 9-0 win in Washington where you guys were. And he said that, this team is so together that even in a stadium where there's only 100 people out there, the entire team was fired up and ready to go.
There's more than 100 Niner fans.
It was
there.
an exaggeration.
I know. There was like,
But
I hear you.
It was a home game.
I find it funny that out
Seriously.
of all the games he could have referenced back to, he specifically referenced back to that one, that 9-0 Washington win where he had 0 touchdowns, where he threw for what, 100 yards?
151 yards.
Yeah, like he barely did anything
153.
of noteworthy, but that was the game that he chose to reference, and I think that's what says a lot. He could have referenced the New Orleans game where he fucking went nuts, but he didn't. I don't know. I like everything about him. I like what he brings to the table, off the field, on the field. I think that there's plenty of room for improvement, and he has 29 career starts. You know when Aaron Rodgers hit his prime? 52 career starts until Aaron Rodgers hit his prime. Do you know who else has 29 starts? Baker Mayfield. You know who has 26 starts? Sam Darnold. Who you taking those two over Jimmy Garoppolo? I don't think so.
No. Not a chance.
He's a top 12 quarterback that has top 5 weeks. He's got to get better. He has to improve.
With a top 3 play caller.
I will say this, as big of a supporter as I am, I will say that he needs to improve. There are areas of his game that he needs to improve.
sure.
And I need to see those next year.
Let me ask you this. How often, let's call this Jimmy Garoppolo's second year as a starter, since the first year was only 5 games.
Yeah, I
and the
know.
second
It's
year
such
was,
a jumbled
So
mess.
let's say this season was the second year as a starter. Or you call it your first, whatever you want. How many starting quarterbacks in the NFL throw more picks in their third year than their second year?
One, Jameis Winston.
Unless you're Jameis Winston. Right? I mean,
And Brett Favre.
realistically.
Yeah.
And Brett Favre is a great point because you don't want to take that out of him to an extent.
Yeah.
You don't want a guy that doesn't throw the ball. You don't want a guy that's gun shy. We've spent enough time with fucking Alex Smith. I don't even want to fucking hear it about fucking dump downs. I don't want to fucking hear it.
Yeah.
We spent years watching him throw the ball to Frank Gore at the line of scrimmage on 3rd and 400 yards. I'm done with that. I would much rather some squirrely balls and some long ones.
The only silver lining, if you could barely squint to try and see a silver lining out of this loss, is that everybody has written off Jimmy G. Everybody. Except for a lot of Niner fans that I still see
The only thing
backing them.
I see, like you, if the world writes off Richard Sherman, that motivates Richard Sherman to play better.
Yeah.
If the world writes off George Kittle, that motivates George Kittle to play better. I don't think Jimmy G gives a flying fuck either way.
It'll be interesting to see.
I just
next
don't. I
year.
think Jimmy Garoppolo wants to play the best game of football he can because he wants to play the best. I don't think he gives a fuck what anybody says.
My early bold prediction for next year is that Jimmy Garoppolo is a legitimate MVP candidate throughout the season. Legitimate.
Yeah,
I am expecting a huge jump.
Throw that grenade in there and then don't come back and do any podcasts. That's cool. Leave that with us.
Wait, can we talk about how my bold prediction of 8 retirements is all? I'm getting there.
Yeah, you're getting
I'm
there. No,
getting
you already
there.
passed
It's climbing.
No, I'm not.
Not 8.
Not 8?
No.
What's the list up to?
Probably about 4 or 5.
Do you have the names?
Well, Eli Manning, Vernon Davis, Kuechly.
Vernon Davis is not a huge retirement at this point.
No, I know, but
That's like 5 years past due.
okay. Luck.
Yeah.
Luck counts for sure.
Yeah.
Kuechly counts for sure.
Eli.
I'll take that. Yeah.
I guess it's.
I don't think they're as big as Kuechly. I mean, Kuechly
Rivers-
is the biggest.
Rivers
or
would be a
Luck. Either
surprise.
one of those two is the biggest.
Phil Rivers would be a surprise.
He ain't going nowhere.
No.
What if San Diego or
San Diego? They're
LA.
done. They cut ties with him.
That don't matter.
No,
You
I
don't
know.
think
No,
he's playing?
I'm just saying they cut ties.
Yeah.
with him.
Oh, I know he's
yeah.
not going there,
Okay,
but
yeah,
he's not
yeah,
leaving.
I don't know. It's hard to
Fuck
say.
no.
He's got what, 12 kids?
He don't. Have you seen Phillip Rivers play football?
I know. I know.
If they're 0-15, he plays that 16th game like it's the Super Bowl.
I know.
That guy has a fire inside of him. That like John Lynch. That's why John Lynch is a GM again.
I know.
It's the same thing. The competitor, you can't take that out of him.
Next thought is, going forward, I mean, just the kind of guys that Shanahan and Lynch are bringing into this team really is what propelled this season, I think, to be what it was. And it truly is a team. They draft, it seems like every single guy that they draft or bring in through free agency is a natural leader. Quan Alexander became more of a leader here than he was in Tampa. Richard Sherman, they bring him in. He's an instant leader. We already knew that. But what we didn't know is how much of a leader George Kittle could be when we drafted him. Or, how much of a leader Mike McGlinchey is going to end up being. I mean, I know there's a big-time picks, but the kind of guys that they're bringing into this building is what propels a team and holds a team together.
A lot of teams pick great players.
Yes.
But to have a great player that also has that other quality is different.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of great players in the NFL, but great players that lead and lead by example. Now, remember, when we were there in 2012, we were also drunk driving and raping and fucking robbing and gun charges and everything you could possibly imagine terribly. Domestic abuse, everything.
Let me ask you
that's not
this.
this team.
If you had to rate this team's talent, would they be inside the top 5 for you? Just talent.
As a team or all separately?
All separately.
No.
Not even close, right?
No, I don't think so.
I would put them probably inside the top 10.
And whatever I say is going to be higher than what a third party would say.
Right.
Like someone that's not a 49er fan.
But
I'm rating them higher as a 49er fan, and it's still not.
I don't think that they're a top 5 talent team individually when you put each person individually, but together and their attitude is what makes them the best team in the NFL. I still believe that they were the best team in the NFL this year, even though they lost.
I agree.
I don't. But no surprise there.
Nope. And every single year, I said it in the last episode, every single year we have seen major rookie contributions. And that's very promising because you need to keep feeding this pipeline. That pipeline dries up really quick if you miss on a couple drafts. We've seen it happen. And just some quotes that came out today from the media members being in the locker room. This one's from Mike McGlinchey. He said, "We earned everything we got this year. We weren't in the Super Bowl by chance. We grinded and won our way. We weren't lucky. It wasn't some Cinderella story. We earned that, and we're all damn proud to be a part of that. The fact of the matter is that we didn't finish and we came up short." And they want to go back, obviously.
I'll tell you what, at the end of the third quarter, I thought I was getting my MVP prediction.
To
Debo.
Debo. Yeah, that was mine too.
I thought I was getting it.
I'll tell you what though, had we won, I don't know how you didn't. I don't know how much he showed up on the stat sheet. I don't know how you didn't wouldn't give it to Bosa. His presence throughout that game was fucking felt.
I don't know. I think if you listen to most analysts, they felt Buckner was more of a wrecking ball.
He was,
and probably because Bosa was held more.
Yeah,
but I don't. It's tough in the NFL for a defensive player to get it.
Yeah. Another quote from Kittle. He says, "If the disappointment doesn't actually give you fuel, I think you're in the wrong sport." That dude is a madman. He will fucking bring it every single week. We know that. He's one of the top 3 players in the NFL.
You think he'll ever get his rotator cuff fixed? He
well,
says
I got that coming
right?
up next. He says that he won't need any procedures this offseason, just some rehab to reach 100% health for 2020. He claims that he doesn't need surgery, that all it requires is rehab. We'll see.
Dr. Kittle.
Well, his sister's like big into like holistic and like stretching and all that shit. So I assume she's gonna fuck with him because she does like legitimate like football camps where like football teams bring her in to like improve flexibility, yoga, like balanced diet and shit. I know it's odd, but it's legitimate.
Another as odd as groove music.
Another injury update.
Are you just grooving over there?
Always groove music.
What the fuck is going on here? What am I missing out on?
Oh, it's the media player is called Groove Music.
Yeah, take it up with Bill.
Interesting.
The fuck is Bill?
Bill Gates.
Another injury update, which pertains to the next year, is what happened to Trent Taylor this year on his broken foot. and a screw was put in during the preseason. Then a second screw was put in after the first one didn't work. And then he got an infection. And then there were more complications, and then there was an insertion into his bone, and then there was an operation to remove all of it. Take all the screws out, take the insertion out, and he had 5 surgeries on his foot throughout this year.
Jesus Christ.
And he says that he's now nearing his return, and he should be coming out of the walking boot within the next few days, few weeks.
It sounds not, I mean, I don't want to say similar, but I mean, as Alex Smith's story just came out that he almost fucking, died because of a fucking broken leg. Infection is fucked up. It's scary.
Where's Jalen Hurd?
Yeah, that's another,
That name
no
disappeared.
update on him. Somebody asked Barrows, I think I was listening to him on a podcast, and he said, I haven't seen Jalen Hurd in weeks.
The last thing I remember hearing was his agent wasn't happy with the IR designation. That was the last thing I remember hearing.
Well, his agent can go fuck.
Yeah.
That's because he's probably afraid he's going to lose money.
I think that Trent Taylor is not to be slept on, because if he could just fucking stay healthy, he is everything that this offense needs. Like, we don't need a big-bodied fucking Devontae Adams. Sure, it would be nice to have that, Michael Thomas, what have you. We have George Kittle to do that shit. What we need is some dude that can cause separation in the middle of the field and make people miss an open space and be where they got to be when they got to be there. And that's Trent Taylor. I feel like Jimmy has been missing Trent Taylor ever since that he left. Jimmy and Trent Taylor on third downs in 2017 was, like, historic.
And I think probably part of the reason Jalen Hurd has not been seen from is that I think the role that they pictured him in is what we've seen Debo do.
Yeah.
I think when they signed him,
He will be a factor next year, especially if Pettis doesn't step his shit up.
and
He's
if,
done.
and if Hurd can play like Debo did in that style of role, imagine having 2 of those guys.
Yeah.
Like there's so many options.
Yeah, I don't think that... I've seen a lot of people throw out that we need to get a wide receiver in here, draft a wide receiver around 1. I couldn't disagree more.
No,
We need a cornerback.
I'm fairly. What?
Cornerback?
I don't know about that. I don't know what's going to come of it.
I was trying to think about it the other day. What's our biggest need? And it's like, we don't really have a
I would say,
massive need.
for me,
but
it's the secondary, but you guys.
if I had to
take it.
pick one, I would
We were
say...
the top pass defense in the entire NFL this year.
When it mattered, Sherman was made a fool of.
Okay. One play of an entire season. That's silly.
I mean, I would say
And
that out of all the things on this team, the secondary is up there in needs. Not a massive need, but I would say interior offensive lineman.
I would agree with
and
that.
I don't think we'll see Jimmy Ward back.
He says he wants to come back. He seems like he'll take a hometown discount, too.
Hopefully.
Yeah, but
I think.
But don't you think that Tavarius Moore could just fill his spot and be just fine?
I don't know. We'll see. I do think that Emmanuel Sanders is back.
You do?
Yeah.
That would surprise me.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to ask a lot. Just the way he's talked about this team, I think he takes way less to stay.
And for whatever it's worth, I just read something like sitting here again. I haven't been reading anything, but they're talking maybe the franchise tag for Armstead.
Yeah, I heard that today too.
I would definitely franchise tag him 100% just to see him do it another year, or franchise tag him and trade him.
Yeah.
Like how
Either
we
way.
got D Ford. So because we only have a first rounder, and then we don't have another pick, I believe, until the 5th round. So if you could tag and
first
trade
rounder is late.
Armstead for better picks, early second rounder, I'll take that all day.
Yep. Agree.
Hey, you want to do some emails?
Yes.
All right, we'll do the particulars, then I'll read emails.
All right.
It's a lot.
If you would like to email us, goldbloodedpodcast@gmail.com. Curran's running the Instagram there at Goldblooded Podcast, no underscores. He's running the Twitter too. Occasionally, I'll see him on there at Goldblooded Pod. If you feel so inclined to donate, you could do that at patreon.com/Goldblooded Podcast and reviews. I don't think that we've gotten any new reviews in a while, so
I just checked it.
yeah, give us some goddamn reviews on your iTunes app or whatever app it is that you're listening on, Podbean. Just leave a fucking review, 5 stars, or if you're going to leave 1 star, at least make it funny.
First email is from a man named Trevor Myers. What up, fuckers? Repping the Empire in Victoria, BC, Canada. Well, that's exciting. I'm wearing my Bosa jersey under my 94 Young. Hoping to make it 3 for 3 in Miami, baby. Love you guys. By far my favorite intro to any Niner podcast, let alone any podcast I listen to. Gets me jacked and a bit emotional. We're in the Super Bowl. Fuck off. Trevor, red and gold until I'm dead and cold, baby. Okay. Baby.
Sorry, Trevor. All right, that was before the game, obviously.
Matt Matterson.
Matt Matterson before the game?
Response to episode 242.
That was before the game, yeah, January 30th.
To defend myself, I
You don't have
gotta
to do
say,
that.
in the audio I recorded and you guys played recently, hey, I do what everybody does. You know, when I get up in the morning, I put on some clothes on. But after I put on my pants, I create creative gold. If anybody knows the inspiration that I got that comment, good for you.
Sure, Steve. Walk away from this. Walk away from this.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Do we want to give like a one-time reconsideration?
Yeah, just walk away from that. How could you possibly... go ahead, Chris. Go ahead.
No, hold on. How could you possibly not want to be part of the receiving end of this? You know, like...
At the beginning of this of last episode, I really was thinking to myself what it's going to be like when neither of you are here and we lose a game. And like, if it's bad, what if we're like 0-6? Like, I don't know how this friendship is gonna survive this. And it's really strange because you would think having you
Joe
guys
takes all of his anger out on me.
That's what's strange about it. Like, you would think that having you guys here wouldn't help. Like, you'd think like it only makes it worse because you can really lay into you guys. But I'm a little bit nervous about it.
I mean, I agree.
You know, like going into it, I'm like, this is gonna be interesting.
Yeah.
And then as soon as this started, I went, how could you leave that?
Yeah, I mean, if like, I think you and I are both smart enough that if after like 2 losses in a row, if we walk out of there like fuck you, like if we're on the way home like not texting each other, that we have to get in touch with Matterson that next week and be like, dude, you're gonna be video conferenced in because it's the only thing that's gonna save this.
We need
fucking
a
thing.
grand equalizer.
Yeah, like we'll kill each other if you don't. I don't want to get shot. All right, sorry.
That said, again, another thing though. I mean, I've been listening to that email I sent where I commented that Chris can go back to being a Jets fan. Like I say, in episode 40, Rob said that too, but I did it just to channel Lillian or Nick Duffy since he has been on this superstitious excuse that he's been on. That said,
Good point. All we heard last week was the reason we haven't gotten an email from him is because where is he?
We were talking during the game, and then when things went sour, we both texted each other "fuck," and it's been radio silence since.
I hope he's okay.
Yeah, I think he's okay.
I hope everything's all right. But if that was the reason he wasn't, I mean, you know, just
a couple of more nights, I'm getting a little nervous. Hopefully, things change Sunday before the game. That said, I'm out, really.
So our first post-Super Bowl email
coming up right now
is also
from
Mr. Matterson.
Yeah, all right. So, if you were maybe feeling bad about the Super Bowl, we're going to make you feel better about it right now. We probably should have started...
Have you listened to this?
No.
I haven't either.
We probably should have started... Fuck, I got a private email from Matterson that I should probably play first, but fuck it. I'm going to hold on to that.
Why is it private?
You'll see.
I've been talking to Matterson.
Contract signing?
Yeah. He asked his Alexa who was going to win the Super Bowl. All right. I mean, I probably got to get this. Steve, talk for a minute.
I honestly, man, I'm gonna miss this.
Stand by.
I'm gonna miss this, but I'm
on.
still.
I didn't even think to ask Alexa who's going to win the Super Bowl. He's so far ahead of me. Holy shit.
Who's going to win the Super Bowl?
The Chiefs are favored to win it, but the 49ers are on a gold streak. My prediction? The 49ers will be joining the Patriots and Steelers with a six-pack of Super Bowl wins. Alrighty. Hut, hike.
With a six-pack, she said.
So, yeah, like, Matterson and I were, like, talking, like, I guess you could say gold-blooded business, I guess we'll call it. And he just, out of the blue, I get that email on, like, my private email, like, hey, there's this, too. I'm like, okay, good, glad.
Amazing.
Okay, so Matt Matterson says, I'm going to put blame on both the offense and the defense. The offense because they took the foot off the gas pedal. The defense for not covering Hill, Travis Kelce, i.e., and failing to pressure Mahomes. Hold on. Oh, pedal. Rose pedal. Pressure Mahomes on big plays. Close, but no cigar is the title of this audio. Sorry, I couldn't see.
Before you go on, I just thought of a new segment for next year. If the 49ers lose a game, we are going to ask Alexa why for the blame game. We're going to ask why they lost and find the real blame game.
Okay.
I like that.
When I get home, I'm going to ask why they lost the Super Bowl, see if I can get an answer.
All right.
What makes this game tough was the Niners gave away their lead. It was basically a hit. It wasn't pretty. For this week, offense beast of the week goes to, I'm going to give it to Deebo Samuel. He made
Attaboy,
some
Matterson.
nice runs against the Chiefs. They should have stuck with Deebo Samuel in the second half of the running. Defensive beast of the week goes to Fred Warner for that interception. Defensive beast of the year goes to defensive rookie of the year Nick Bosa. Offensive beast of the year, I'm going to give it to Deebo Samuel. Here's my reason why. I think he made some impressive plays during the season. But when he started in the middle of the season, when he started becoming an impressive wide receiver blocking, and you could give it George Kittle, you could give it to some of the running backs, but I'm going to give it to Deebo Samuel. Yeah, this one's tough. Like I say, it was one of the worst ref games too. A sketchy pass interference call on George Kittle. I say it's sketchy. There should have been a false start or an offsides on a certain third down in the fourth quarter against the Chiefs. That wasn't called. And then Niners got away with the delay of game penalty. Just saying, that was a really rough, one of the worst ref games I've seen. Probably second to that NFC Championship game against the Seattle Seahawks. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
Years ago, between Jim Harbaugh and Pete Carroll. Yeah, that game. Other than that, we got another year. Next year, hopefully the quest for 6 ends next season for the Niners. As said, I'm out. really.
We got to get you headphones for next year. The emotion in his voice is so much more. through the
No, dude,
headphones.
here, I'm going to tell you what a fucking bizarre human I am. So, like I said, I had sent some emails back and forth with Matt, and then I was like, I went back into the gold-blooded email, and I just searched his emails, and I listened the other night to maybe 2 consecutive hours of all his emails, going back like 2 years.
Through headphones?
Yes.
There's so much more emotion through the
yeah.
headphones.
Yeah. Like, my wife was, like, laying in bed, like, kind of sleeping, and I kept, like laughing, and then, like, but then there would just be, like, intense silence, and she's like, what the fuck are you doing? I'm like,
There's much more emotion in it when you listen through the headphones.
Well, speaking of a guy who's emotional, Barrett Mueller checks in. Fuck My Life is the title. I don't want to hear about where we were last year compared to this year. I don't want to hear about being there. We didn't get it done. We just got to move on. This one hurts worse than Super Bowl 47. Yeah, blame the refs. We had a 10-point lead and we blew it. Shanahan decided now to have a bad game plan. Our running game didn't get going outside of a few plays. I'm heartbroken, and this is a shitty way to send off Stephen Chris. Go Niners. Barrett Mueller 2.
I'm glad he stuck in the Go Niners at the end.
Yes. A letter from a millennial faithful. I wrote this in a Facebook group to the old heads who just seem too chipper to brush it all under the rug. Maybe you guys can see it from us younger 49er fans' perspective too. Dear old head 49er fans, there's always next year. Easy for you to say when you got to see multiple world championships. My earliest memories of this 49er team were Steve Young, Jeff Garcia, and T.O. Most of my childhood, I watched some pretty shitty and pretty mediocre 49er football. I've been a loyal fan through and through. I was 18 when we finally made it back to the playoffs. Kyle Williams happened. Get to the Super Bowl next year. I was at Lackland Air Force Base in tech school just to watch the 49ers lose again. Completely gutted. Got to my first duty station in the city I pretty much settled down in Omaha, Nebraska. Lost the NFC Championship game. The infamous Sherman interview. It hurt. Then the whole damn team fell apart after a mediocre 8-8 season. Guys that I keep near and dear, like Patrick Willis and Frank Gore, gone. Watched the team fiddle fuck around until we finally got everything going. It felt like destiny this year with the stop on the one, flattening out the Vikings and the Packers. Then we choked away a 10-point lead. It's easy to say stay faithful when you got those memories of Montana, Rice, Steve, etc. Those guys all got their AARP cards now. It's hard being a millennial 49er fan. Always a bridesmaid and never a bride. Guess there's always next year. I don't know how you say that, like in millennial text. Sincerely, a broken-hearted millennial faithful. I mean...
Good points.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hear the mocking tone. I just...
we needed one.
Listen.
Throughout all of this.
25 years is unacceptable.
3 straight years of NFC championships and a Super Bowl appearance. 2 Super Bowl appearances in one decade. All of that to have nothing. That sucks.
Yeah, he's right.
That fucking sucks.
Go ahead, Joe.
I'm coming.
It's a good one. I assume nobody's pre-read this. It's pretty good.
Tyler Schaefer says, Steve, I've been listening to this shit show for years, and I never thought I'd hear shit brick Steve fuck us in the ring like he just did. Losing this game is 100% on his hairy ass. You notice, dude?
How does he know I'm hairy?
Get better. It gets better.
Also, Mumble Nuts Chris can go back to the sorry-ass Jets. Maybe you and the rapist Adam Gase can poke each other. You two jinxed the dog piss out of us. As for Rob and Joe, keep this shit going. Without you two, I will murder my family. So, Rob, I gotta be honest with you. It was this email, and there's one more crazy fucking email that I was like, kind of brought me out of the gutter. It was the Barrett Mueller, this one, and then there's one more that I was like, you know what? I got to get off my sorry ass. There are people more fucked up than I am that genuinely need to hear my fucked upness.
I will murder my family.
But I totally understand his sentiment. You know what
Honestly,
I mean?
Of course you do. Fucking psychopaths.
If you told me that when we started this podcast 7 years ago, that we were going to have one fan that was going to murder his family if we stopped doing the show, I would say we fucking made it. We made it.
And then you'd quit the show so that he goes and murder his family.
Yes.
But, like, no bullshit. Like, Monday night, my wife asked me, like, oh, do you want me to make Cinnabons after dinner? And I was like, bitch, I'll fucking gut you. Like, do I want fucking Cinnabons? I don't even want fucking dinner. Get the fuck away from me.
Cinnabons.
What a weird suggestion.
And again, the nicest possible thing you could do, baby, you want...
That was after the game?
This is Monday night.
Monday night.
She was like, baby...
She obviously had a rough 24 hours, Steve.
Yeah.
And was trying to turn it around.
Yeah. And I was like the look I gave her was like, I was offended that she asked me that I want, like, I should
She obviously was walking on eggshells for 24 hours.
Terrified.
And was like, how do I
God.
break this fucking
She
silence?
spent like 18 of those 24 hours upstairs at her mother's. You know what I mean? Like, she just knew to give me, and like she came down all like timid about it. She was like,
I called Joe for a welfare check
Yeah,
earlier
yeah.
in the week.
It was
Imagine being timid in your own house.
yeah, good move in.
Imagine not being able to shit in your own house. Are you
No, hold on. I could speak on that. She was like antsy when I was dragging my feet to leave tonight because like I knew it, I had time. We were starting a couple minutes late, and she's like, are you gonna get going? I was like, what the fuck? Like you beg me not to go every week, and here I am sitting here laying on you. What's up? She's like, and that's it. I'm like, I don't know. What are you saying to me here? Like she's like, I gotta go to the bathroom. I'm like, go to the fucking bathroom. She's like, I have to go to the bathroom.
She's gonna be so glad you brought this up.
It's not like she supports me.
It's not like you support her. What the fuck?
We're talking about her not being comfortable at home because the 49ers lost a football game, not being able to shit in the house, and somehow you just made it about you. Husband of the year.
You are a real American piece of shit. You and Johnny Manziel.
Good.
It's not like she supports me. In the conversation about how she was waiting to use the bathroom till he left.
Yeah, that's my life.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Let's check in with Michael Bonin because this guy's on my page, I think.
Michael's boning.
He's broken is the title.
Michael Broken.
Oh, Matterson squeaked one in.
Another one?
Oh, yeah. Just in time.
Phenomenal. Yes, I did. I sent this email to other 49er fans, and I'm like, this is why I do the podcast, because a human being I've never met or even ever interacted with refers to himself as Bonesaw when signing out. You know what I mean?
Bonesaw out, really.
Yeah, let's get to this. Didn't think
Bonesaw from Upper Jersey.
didn't think anything could take me off my horse high in the sky after witnessing the championship game in person with my old man. So I wasn't.
Wow.
Was he saying that he was on heroin when he watched the game, or?
I think he just meant high horse.
Okay, because I take that as they call heroin the horse.
No, I think he just meant like he's high in the sky after watching us trash.
You could understand why I might be
Packers. Yeah, he does go by Bonesaw.
I'm fucking broken into 1,000 fucking pieces. I've cut off all ties to any avenue that could deliver sports to my eyes or ears. I'm fucking sick. If Rob still leaves, that's fucking bullshit.
Rob, you
maybe
you want to tell us something?
I'm heartbroken for Staley. Not sure when or if I'll ever be able to watch again. 2 Super Bowl losses. This one takes the cake. I'm fucking sick. I don't know what else to say. Goddamn fucking sick. Goodbye, Bonesaw. Phenomenal. I mean, just whether it's satire or not, it's fucking perfect. It's just fucking awesome.
Ooh,
Michael Bowden.
Matterson
Well,
really
last minute
just got
action
it in.
from Matterson here.
I can't wait.
We got a Matterson
That's what I
last
said
minute
before.
flashback coming up.
I just said that.
All right.
Yeah, I just go Matterson squeaked one in.
Yeah. Just Joe, bro, says the world run the world.
Oh, boy.
Run the ball.
This is gonna be
Shanahan.
interesting.
Nah, throw it. Damn.
4.5 minutes.
All right, so I let this kind of sit and marinate because I was trying to find a logical. I was trying to think logically. Like, okay, is this the way I see it? Is this how it really happened? I'm not gonna listen to all these analysts. I actually unfollowed a lot of these things. I'm not even listening to the YouTube football anymore. But it comes down to this: Kyle Shanahan blew the damn game. Blew the damn game for us. He blew the damn game. First half, doesn't take that timeout. Stupid. And I know if we would have won, I wouldn't be saying all this. I'd be all happy and overwhelmed with joy and everything else. I'd be like, man, Kyle Shanahan sure does scare the crap out of me when he doesn't run the ball when we had a lead. I'd be singing the whole...
I am just imagining Shanahan takes a timeout on 4th down, and we get aggressive, and we go 3 and out, and we take 42 seconds off the clock, and Patrick Mahomes gets the ball, drives the field, and scores a touchdown. How much every person is fucking crucifying him for not running the ball and running the clock out. He would be.
No.
You're full of shit.
I do not think.
You're 1,000,000% wrong.
No.
Every fucking analyst would have fucking destroyed him for not running the ball, because that's what they did to him when he didn't run the ball in Atlanta. That's what they did to Pete Carroll when he didn't run the ball. That's what we've done to fucking Harbaugh for not running the ball. He would have got fucking crucified if he gave that ball back to Mahomes and they scored a fucking touchdown. He would have never lived that down.
People applaud aggressiveness these days. Going
When it
for
works.
on 4th down.
When it works.
No, I don't see that
A
much
million.
backlash when it doesn't work, because if there's logic behind it.
Why are we still talking about Kyle Shanahan in the Super Bowl then?
I'm not.
That's what every person is talking.
Well, they're all
That's
retarded.
one. He would have been fucking crucified.
There was one play he fucked up. He should have ran. One play.
And he will never not hear that.
Yeah, well,
And
he says it himself. He
going-
says, if I could go back and change something, I would change that one play.
If he came out throwing, oh my God. I would have fucking lost it. That's for sure.
different song. But I'm not. Because he did it against the Saints when he should have ran the ball and then just took the game-winning field goal. Instead, he didn't run the ball. We had to take the field goal, and the Saints had plenty of time to come back, but luckily Kittle saved us. Then he did it against the Falcons. Should have ran the ball. Took all the time off the clock, but he didn't. We lost. Then we almost blew it in the last game of the season against the Seahawks. We were up. Didn't run the ball, and they started coming back. Luckily, Greenlaw happened, and we won.
Greenlaw happened.
And then, to make matters worse, it's like throughout the playoffs, you don't let Jimmy get that chemistry with the wide receivers. I mean, I'm good with him running the ball. That was cool. But then we go into the Super Bowl. Jimmy's playing good in the first half. I didn't think he played bad. I think that interception, he was trying to throw it out of bounds. Didn't get there. The first half, you don't let the guy. I don't know. The two throws that he did make, come on, offensive pass interference. I don't want to hear it. That defense was holding Bosa and our boys all night. But you don't run the ball again. He doesn't run the ball again. I'm not going to sit here and say I hate him, don't want him there. I'm not doing all that. It's just, damn. And then you give the ball to Jimmy, and you dial up a freaking a shot down the field. I know, everybody knows that Jimmy Garoppolo cannot throw the deep ball. And most of the time, out of all the times, he finally threw it over the receiver, but usually he throws it under. And, he didn't get a rhythm throughout the playoffs. He didn't get to get a feel for everything. A lot of the receivers were blocking. It is what it is, guys. It is. Hey, Steve, peace out. Chris, peace out. It's been fun. I don't know who Joe's going to argue with next season, but it's been fun.
I got a
Enjoy
pretty good
your
idea.
guys', everything you guys put out there. Sucks to see you guys go. Joe, at least it's your wife's piss. Rob, see you next season. Till then, guys, I don't feel a certain type of way towards Garoppolo. I don't hate him. I don't hate our team. Shanahan just blew it. He made our defense look bad. He didn't give our defense time to rest, and it is what it. And what sucks even more, real quick, guys. I know I'm going a little long, but what sucks even more is that when all these guys, this is why I had to stop following everybody. When all these people are saying about the holding, I mean, they went into the game worried about the holding, and on that 3rd and 16 where Patrick Mahomes goes for that deep ball to Tyreek Hill, damn, you couldn't. And it sucks seeing that play on the TV or when you're at the gym. You see that play and you see Bosa getting howled like crazy. That's what sucks even more. That's what sucks. Hey, until then, guys, go Niners all day, every day, every day, every day. Hey, I'm going to Vegas in June. I'm putting my money on the Niners to win again. Peace out, guys.
That's the only acceptable way to bet on your team. If you throw like 50 or
Like,
100
or
down
off
before the
season.
season, yes.
Yeah.
The only way to
agree.
do it, yes. Next email is from a man named Chris Bravo. Fuck. Fuck. First off, I'm a proud gold-blooded podcast Patreon here. Well, thank you. Sorry for the late entry. I hope this makes it to the show. How's everyone doing on this fucked up week? Just writing to say that this was a tough loss. I would blame the refs, but when you blow a 10-point lead with 6 minutes remaining, you just can't. Ultimately, I place the blame on our coach. He needed to play more aggressive. He should have not abandoned the run game in the last quarter, especially after you just ran for 5 yards on your first down. Also, why didn't he try to score in that last minute right before the half? That bullshit excuse he gave doesn't go well when you're trying to win the Super Bowl. So on to the next season. Sucks that we have to wait another year, but that's just how it is, boys. Steve, good luck with your future endeavors. I have to honestly say that it shocked me to hear you are leaving the podcast. It just won't be the same without you, but I know that Joe will still be bringing the heat along with Rob. Also, I have an idea for what you can do with your Gold-Blooded Podcast tattoo. I say that both Joe and Rob go add a Gold-Blooded tattoo to their skin, and then you, my friend, just add the word quitter to yours. Until next season, go Niners. Sent from Fuck the Chiefs iPhone. We will take that into consideration.
Not a bad idea.
Yeah, we'll take that in consideration when concocting Steve's punishment. So we're just gonna let Matt Matterson take us out. I have nothing to say after this.
We'll be back we're gonna be back in a few weeks. We're gonna do like a full season recap and with an eye looking forward and where the team's heading
and a proper
from here.
send off for these dicks, which will be in about 3 to 4 weeks. We want to say.
Yeah, probably something like that. 3 to 4 weeks.
Okay, giddy up.
In the new gold-blooded studio.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm looking forward to that.
So this last-minute flashback from Matt Matterson says, I am going through audio, and I thought of a quick flashback audio. Consider this to be part one of many. It's Bethard, not beat hard.
This is Blast from the Past with Manderson. This story takes place about 3 years ago before Lynch and Shanahan's first season as general manager and head coach. They had
Before this starts, although we're going to miss Steve and Chris, this is proof that the podcast will be better next year than last year.
Because then there'll be
It's
a
a
time.
decent consolation. I'll tell you that much.
Because then there'll be a time when you guys are like years removed, and the flashbacks will be to when you were.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
First of all, the fact that you use the word consolation is insulting. Consolation is like you
Second
lost
place.
$100, but you got 10 back. This
Yeah,
is more like
you're right.
This is more like we lost 100 and then found 500.
Ah!
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. That's what I meant.
This is just straight hitting a lot of. Sorry.
Oh boy.
This is before
Who's gonna fuck these up next year?
Lynch and Shanahan's first
Who are
season
you gonna play next year?
as general manager and head coach. They had required CJ Beathard, and during the preseason, everybody was arguing who and how was his pronoun. Everybody was arguing how it was pronounced. Was it Beathard or Beathard? And here's some of the examples. And I went with Beathard. In a weird way, I I had a reason, and here is my reason. And Steve had this reason where you're going to hear my reason why, and you're going to hear his reason why. But down the line, everybody realized it is pronounced Beathard.
It's C.J. Beathard, by the way, and I look at it as look at the name Howard. It's how when you ask a question, Howard is running, jumping, ing. You add just that you're jumping, doing jumping jacks, or you're jumping around. So I see Beth, ARD at the end.
B-E-A-T. So there's an A in there.
Yeah.
Okay.
T underscore.
Oh, remember that?
HARD. It's right on his Instagram.
Beat hard.
Beat underscore hard. Look him up.